story time. So, what's the weirdest school trip you've ever been on? Because for me, it was a school trip to France for a week. You'll get the gist of it as we tell this story. So, for context, we're going to a school trip to Cannes, and we have to wake up at 2 a.m, get on the bus, and get to the ferry by 8 a.m. And then we'd arrive at 8 p.m. at Cannes, just in time to get into our hotel, rest up for the day ahead of us. So we board at 2:30, and I'm sat next to a little ghost kid, right? Who's my friend, and I'm also sat in front of AJ Animations and his friend, who doesn't have a YouTube channel, so I'm not gonna say. And yeah, so it starts. We're journeying on, going forwards. Then we get to the outer Reading area, which is Reading's like a large town almost outside of London. I lived there for a while. Not gonna say much about it. Search it up if you want to look into it. And we arrive at a pit stop in a gas station. So we have about as much money as we could have brought to spend in this what do you call it? Gas station. There we go. So we're in. So basically, what we need to do, go into the gas station while the bus is being refueled, because it's a massive bus. This is about at 5 a.m, so it's just about opening. There's some big stores like Burger King, KFC, Greggs, and WH Smith's. So for anyone unacquainted, Greggs is like a pastry shop. We get there, and quick aside, because I'm doing this off the dome, right? My friend, one of those little things kids have, like arcade machines. He went on one of them. I got the video. It's one of the funniest things ever. Anyway, AJ, when we get back to the bus, I bought a Greggs because I love Greggs. Anyway, yeah. So when we get back to the bus, AJ had bought himself a decent amount of sweets, 2 bags of maybe Haribo's. Or was it 1 bag? Can't remember. Person sat next to him, right? 5 sweets, 5 bags, 5 whole bags. I don't think he was planning on sharing. So he just starts eating. It's crazy. The teacher leading the trip basically gives us the spiel of, this bus is your home for the trip, so keep it nice and tidy. Yada, yada, yada. We thought we would be able to keep it tidy because how much damage could we do to a bus in exactly 5 days, right? So, GeoWizard is one of my favourite channels, so I brought my phone and I think some headphones as far as I'm aware. Can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure I did bring some. Can't remember. Anyway, so I'm in the middle of watching a GeoWizard video when I see a snake of goo worm across the floor, and then I see a few Haribos floating across the floor like a raft. So, AG's friend who bought about 50 sweets when we went to that pit stop, he puked everywhere. And the side of my bag got slightly damp, and it was kind of disgusting. Luckily, we only have an hour left in this bus till we get to the thing, and it all gets cleaned up, right? I noticed while I'm checking the map that we aren't going to Portsmouth where we're supposed to go. We're actually going into London. So, as we go around the edge of London, we go through a tight, narrow passage. The front windscreen mirror cracks, so the driver pulls over in an area of Tatsfield. So, we are allowed to walk around the bus, but I don't, because the sick's right below me, and I don't want to walk around in the sick. Eventually, after 50 minutes, the driver comes to clean it up, which doesn't really help, but it makes it better. So, I head to the back of the bus to chill out with my other friends, Housing Singer and Jacob. It's fine, we chat, we play around, mess around for a bit, and then we haven't moved in another hour. So now it's about 7, the sun's dawning. I do a little looking online, and it turns out that the spare wind mirror that they need to cross the channel, apparently, is coming all the way from Manchester. So that's about a 3-hour drive. 1 hour later, no use, Added on to the bad conditions, the bus's toilets have stopped working, which is fine, you know. So I sit and wait in pain. We are late for the ferry, so the teacher in charge says we can either go to the 11:30 a.m. Dover or have to get the 3 p.m. 8-hour ferry to Caen. So we decided to go to the 11:30 to Dover. 30 minutes later, we found out why we were in London. The bus driver gave the wrong directions. And then the Windmere, again, would have to be from Birmingham. I think I said Manchester last time. I meant Birmingham. Which was told to the teachers about an hour ago. So about, another hour left. So we wait with bursting bladders. Then we get good news. A little shuttle car will take us to the nearby golf club. So there's a golf club just outside the area that the bus is parked, where there's toilets. So we all load up. We sit in. We can all go to the loo. We left at 2 a.m. By the time we left, it was about 7:30 a.m., which is about 5 hours. Smooth sailing to the ferry. We played Manhunt on the ferry, and I also ate some French fries. I love French fries. French fries are so tasty. We had another 4-hour coach ride to get to the hostel in Caen, and we all go into karaoke mode. There's so much stuff happening because we're all hyper. Been awake for almost 20 hours at this point. The roof carries on getting opened and closed by people. So there's a little roof hatch on top of the bus. Pop, 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 pop. People carry on opening it. So annoying. After 2 more hours, we finally pick up the guides, which are going to guide us for the rest of our trip. We haven't even got to Caen yet, right? Now, before we meet the guides, the ruckus occurs. People are hungry. People are banging on chairs, etc. Yada, yada, yada. The guides are a person called Martin and Andy. The hostels were nice. My roommates are Jacob, Lewis, and Jack. We settled in to eat the food at the restaurant. It was awful. So I had cold pasta, cold black broccoli, and rock solid bread because I don't like tomato soup sauce stuff. It's so bad. After that, we were briefed on the next day, and we sent off to the rooms to sleep, which we obviously didn't do. We had a TV in our room. What do you expect? We turned on watching like 3 a.m. videos. I swear at some point a teacher knocked on our door and was like, shush. The next day we got into groups. My guide was Martin. He was a captain of some sort of army. He was knowledgeable about World War II. He started waffling about the start of World War II. But luckily, I got a friend to help me. I just have another channel called Grapevine that does history stuff. I'm going to let him explain World War II for a second while I catch my breath. Yo, it's Grapevine here. Time to explain the start of World War II off memory. So, Hitler, right, not cool guy, he decided to invade Poland with Soviet Union. Yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. He declares war. France declares war on Germany. Germany starts invading. And fast forwards, basically Britain's the only one left in the war. America joins them after Pearl Harbor attacks. And what they need to do from their space, which is from the British Isles, is they need to recapture all of France from Germany. So what they do is they set up the D-Day plans, which are a series of surprise attacks where they get Germany to think they're going to attack from under Italy even, where they actually go from the top of England into France. And this was helped by many of their spies, which fed the Germans the wrong information, which really helped out the British in doing this. They landed at D-Day, which was one of the biggest military landings ever, and they were able to beat Germany back to Paris, and because they because they landed at D-Day, they were also eventually able to take Berlin and as a result of that, Hitler kind of went dead. He died of self-inflicted wounds. Yeah. Anyway, back to the rest of that story about the school trip, shall we? So, day one, we went to Batterie de Merville. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. On May 24th. We went around. It has a realistic air raid bunker, bunch of old guns, yada yada yada. Nothing that interesting, for this story at least. Then we went to a place called Lisieux, I think, or no, Liverot, where we saw all the brie get made. It was interesting. Not my favourite. Then we went to a place called Vanville, where there was the battle of, I think it was something bridge. Can't remember what it's called. It's a battle for a very particular bridge. It's very interesting. Then there's a bunch of old tanks in there. We went to the actual bridge. And then we went to the beaches and saw some of the big Gatling guns that they had. Like not Gatling guns, like big, massive guns. You'll see on screen when I show a picture of it. And then for dinner that day, we had bread and rice. The next day, I posted 2 YouTube shorts, as I always do. And then we went to a church, to the town called Saint Mère Église. We saw the church with the person with a parachute stuck on the church spire. Hold on, let me close my door. And then we went to the actual museum, which was right next door, which had massive lots of tanks, Nazi memorabilia, or artifacts, if you will, Vichy France flags, all sorts of interesting stuff. I pretend, like, parachute experience stuff, all the guns. It was really awesome, actually. It's one of my probably top 10 favourite museums. Like, for example, take this diorama, which I have a picture of on screen. Like, it looks like you're there. It gives you a sense of what it would be like. I wish more museums did something like that. Anyway, my dog is barking mad. Literally. Yeah. And then we went to Saint-Germain-du-Port, which is the German, grave sites for all the Germans who died during the war. Wasn't too bad, actually. Was interesting. Don't have many pictures of it, except this and the large overhead Iron Cross statue kind of thing. And then we went to an American place called Colville-sur-Mer. It has all the white crosses, the crosses of Roosevelt. They took group photos. It was a very important place. It was where one of the D-Day landings took place. And then we went to the town where we bought food, bought ice cream stuff. Then we went to a 3D cinema. Then back in Caen, I had... Oh, that looks a bit like meat, broccoli and bread. They played football. We went back into town to buy some... We went back into the marketplace this time to buy some stuff. I wanted to buy a hat, but I didn't have enough money for it. There's some chicken there. Lovely grapes, lovely meat looking stuff. Oh, lovely baguettes. And then we went to the British War Memorials in Versailles. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly. Or Saint-Côme-de-France. Yeah, again, don't know if it's correct. It was very beautiful. Think about all the people who died during the war, which was kind of the point of it, because it was around the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Then we drove back through Courcelles-sur-Mer, which is like a big bouncy castle, which we saw on the way, pictures on screen. Then we got on the boat, the ferry back. You know what's interesting about this ferry? That it was so big. I've got like videos upon videos of us walking around this ferry. There was 2 food courts, 3 arcades, 10 different shops, across the way, like the type that you'd find in airports, duty-free shops. There we go. We also had a karaoke room, which I don't know if you know where I'm going, but
smoky room. Smell of wine and cheap perfume. A smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. The shadows searching in the night.
yeah, that's right. My most famous YouTube audio is from this trip. It was actually insane. Then what happened after that? I want to say after that two things happened, two very important things. We decided to play tag on the ship. It was a massive ship. And the one rule that we were told was no running. We started running around, and the ship's captain had an over speaker thing, being like, "Guys, please don't run on the ship. It's not very cool." And then the teachers just forced us to sit down for the rest of the boat ride. They didn't really. They let us out once or twice. Lucky it was only an hour left on the boat, so it wasn't that bad. Then after that, we got home as it was the weekend. We got home, and I immediately went with my friend, with my friend to go camping. Yeah. So we arrived at Portsmouth and got picked up, then we went camping. It's actually really nice. It was really late when we got there, though. When we got back, even. The bus would have gone even later because it would have to drive all the way back to the school. So we were lucky in that aspect. We got a nice sleep. It was raining the next day, so we didn't really do any of the camping, but it doesn't matter much, does it? Because I had a banging time. It wasn't the worst school trip, I would say. I think the first part made it. The reason I call it the worst is because of the first part. That just left the bad taste in my mouth. That's the only part I mostly remember from it. But now I think back on it, it was really decent. Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye bye.